everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make the viral TikTok grinder sandwich. This sandwich was so good and I can't wait to show you how to make it, so let's get started with the video. Begin by prepping your ingredients. Shred half a head of lettuce, then slice 1 tomato, and then after slicing the tomato, slice 1 onion. When you're finished, place your sliced onions in a bowl of ice water. Soaking your onions in cold water will get rid of the bitter taste. When you finish prepping your veggies, set them to the side. Next, we're going to make garlic butter. In a small bowl, melt 4 tablespoons of salted butter. Then add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of parsley, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and a half a teaspoon of oregano. Mix everything together until well combined and then place your garlic butter to the side. Next, we're going to make the salad that goes in the sandwich. In a large bowl, add half a cup of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of red wine vinegar, 1 tablespoon of Italian dressing, 2 tablespoons of deli dressing, 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, a half a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Mix everything together until well combined and then add the shredded lettuce and sliced red onions you prepared before and a half a cup of banana peppers. When you're finished making your salad, set it to the side. Now we can begin to assemble the sandwich. Take a piece of French bread and cut it in half. Then brush the inside with garlic butter. Next, add your favorite slices of cheese. I'm adding provolone and Havarti. Then add the sandwich meat of your choice. I'm adding turkey, salami, and pepperoni. Then place your sandwich into the oven on broil until the cheese melts. Once the cheese is melted, take it out of the oven and add some sliced tomatoes. Season your tomatoes with salt and pepper and then add a good amount of your salad on top. Once you've added the salad, add a bit of shredded Parmesan cheese and place the other piece of bread on top. Then brush the top piece of bread with garlic butter. Sprinkle on some Italian seasoning, shredded Parmesan cheese, and a bit of parsley. Slice the sandwich in half and you are all finished. And this is the finished result. Pair this sandwich with some chips and a cold glass of lemonade and you are all set. This sandwich is absolutely delicious and I totally understand why it went viral. The sandwich is juicy and flavorful and I highly recommend giving it a try if you haven't. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make these delicious churro cheesecake bars. I got the recipe from TikTok and I'm super excited to show you guys how to make it, so let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making our cinnamon sugar. In a bowl, add a half a cup of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Mix everything together until well combined. When everything has been mixed together, set it to the side. In another large bowl, add 16 ounces of softened cream cheese. Then beat your cream cheese until smooth. Now add a half a cup of sugar, a half a cup of sour cream, one-eighth teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 2 eggs. When you finish mixing all your ingredients together, scrape down the sides. Then set your cheesecake batter to the side. Next, coat a 13 by 9 pan in butter, oil, or non-stick spray. We'll be using Pillsbury croissant dough in this recipe. Cook the bottom of your pan in the cinnamon sugar we made before. Then lay your Pillsbury croissant dough at the bottom of the pan. Then add your cheesecake batter. Use a spatula to evenly spread the cheesecake batter. Next, add a second layer of croissant dough. Then sprinkle enough cinnamon sugar to cover the dough. When you're finished, bake your churro cheesecake in the oven at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. This is how it should look when you take it out of the oven. When it is finished baking, allow it to cool for about 5 to 10 minutes. Once it has cooled, go ahead and cut yourself a slice. Once you've cut yourself a slice of churro cheesecake, go ahead and add your favorite toppings. I added strawberries, caramel, and powdered sugar to mine. This was the caramel I used. And this is the finished product. These were really easy to make and they were delicious. I ate like 4 of them. Everyone else in the house really enjoyed them as well. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little dessert recipe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I will be showing you how to make this delicious loaded seafood baked potato. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by prepping our ingredients. Dice some celery, green bell pepper, red bell pepper, an onion, and chop some green onion. Next, peel and devein some shrimp. When you're finished, set your shrimp to the side. Next, after cleaning 3 large potatoes, cover them in olive oil. When you're finished, season them with salt. Using a fork, poke holes into your potatoes. Bake your potatoes at 400 for 1 hour. After baking your potatoes, poke them with a fork to make sure that they're done. Then, cut a thin layer off your potato lengthwise. Then scoop the insides out into a bowl. Also, be careful not to tear the shell. When you're finished, set your potato skins to the side. Next, mash the potatoes in the bowl. Then mix in 3 tablespoons of butter, 3/4 cup of milk, and 3/4 cup of sour cream. Once you've mixed all that together, you're going to add 3/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 teaspoon of pepper, 3/4 cup of cheddar cheese, and a 1/2 cup of green onions. If it's hard to stir your potatoes or they don't seem creamy enough, you can go ahead and add more milk. When you're finished with your filling, set it to the side. If you haven't already done so, place your potato shells back on the baking sheet. Then place slices of provolone cheese at the bottom of your potato shells. Then add your filling. When you've added all of your filling to each potato, add shredded cheddar cheese on top. Or you can add 1 slice of provolone cheese with cheddar cheese. Then bake your potatoes at 350 degrees for 15 to 20 minutes. While our potatoes are cooking in the oven, we're going to make our sauce. In a large pan over medium heat, add 5 slices of bacon. Cook your bacon until nice and crispy. When your bacon has finished cooking, add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of butter. Use the butter to deglaze the pan. Then add your shrimp and season them. I added pepper, Old Bay, onion powder, garlic powder, and paprika. After you season your shrimp, saute them for about 4 to 5 minutes or until cooked. Once your shrimp are all cooked, take them out of the pan. Then add 1/4 cup of diced onions, 1/4 cup of diced celery, and 1/4 cup of bell peppers. Cook your vegetables in the pan for about 5 minutes. Then add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic. Cook the garlic with the vegetables for about 30 seconds to a minute. After that, add 1/2 cup of chicken broth, and 1 cup of heavy cream. Mix everything together until well combined. Then let your sauce simmer until it becomes thick. Once your sauce has become thick, add 1/2 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of Old Bay, and 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. Then add 1 tablespoon of lemon juice and 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Mix everything together until well combined. Next, add a 1/2 cup of lump crab meat and a 1/2 cup of crawfish meat. Mix the meat into the sauce and let it cook for about 5 minutes. After your crab meat and crawfish meat are cooked, your sauce is all finished. Next, take the bacon you cooked before and chop into small pieces. When you're finished, set your bacon to the side. Now that your potatoes have finished baking in the oven, you can go ahead and plate everything up. Place your baked potato on a plate. Then add your seafood sauce. The shrimp we cooked before. Bacon. And your green onions. And this is the finished result. The baked potato came out great, and the sauce on top was amazing with it. Everything was just so delicious, well seasoned and flavorful. The baked potato by itself was already good. It was creamy and cheesy and delicious, but with that sauce on top, it just creates an entirely different experience. This recipe is pretty easy to make, and I totally recommend giving it a try. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!
Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make a mangonada. It's super easy, super sweet, and super delicious. So let's get started with the video. Start by cutting up a mango. The amount of mangoes you use will depend on how many drinks you make. 1 mango for 1 person. Cut the sides of the mango and around the pit. On our mango piece, we're going to create a grid. You're going to want to cut vertical lines down the mango and then create vertical lines across the mango. Make sure you're applying enough pressure to cut to the skin but not through the skin. And when you're cutting your mango, do it on the cutting board. The way I'm doing it, I have a high risk of cutting my hand, which isn't smart. Now flip your mango inside out, and using a spoon you can just scoop your mango cubes out. Now squeeze 1 lime into a cup. In a blender, add 1 pound of frozen mangoes. Then add 1 cup of water, one-fourths cup of sugar, and your lime juice. Blend everything together until well combined. It should be the same consistency as a smoothie. In a tiny dish or plate, pour in some tahini. Then, in another tiny dish or plate, pour in some chamoy. Coat the rim of your cup in chamoy. And then dip it in tahini. Then back into the chamoy, and then back into the tahini. Add a little bit of the chamoy into the cup. Then add some chamoy around the side of the glass. You can add some mangoes at the bottom of the cup. You also don't have to. This is totally optional. Then add your mango mixture into the cup. Add some chamoy. Then add fresh mangoes on top. Then I'm going to garnish the fresh mangoes with some more chamoy. A few shakes of tahini. And finally, I'm going to add a tamarind candy straw. After that, you are all finished. This drink is super easy to make and it's really good. If you want, you could add alcohol in it. That's what my mom did. Also, I just want to point out that I added way too much chamoy at the bottom of my cup, so make sure you only add a little bit. Alright, that's it for this video. Everything I used in the video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!
Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make oxtails in an Instant Pot. The oxtails were super tender and tasted really good, so let's get started with the video so I can show you guys how to make it. Begin by prepping your ingredients. Dice 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, 1 yellow bell pepper, 2 stalks of celery, 1 tomato, and 1 onion. Then chop some green onions and 2 carrots. When you're finished prepping your vegetables, set them to the side. Next, we're going to make the seasoning blend for our oxtails. In a small bowl, add 1.5 teaspoons of seasoned salt, 1 teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. Now mix all your seasonings together until well combined. When you're finished, set your seasonings to the side. Next, clean your oxtails. I clean my oxtails in the sink and I rinse them with water. Then I was just kind of scrubbing them with my hands just to get all the blood off. After that, I rinsed them again, and this time I added vinegar. After that, I repeated the process about 3 more times. You can also use lemon juice, lemons, or limes to clean your oxtails. Then I soaked the oxtails in water and vinegar for a while. Once I was finished cleaning my oxtails, I patted them dry. Make sure to clean your sink after washing your oxtails. When you finish patting your oxtails dry, place them in another bowl and then add 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, your seasoning mix from before, and about 2 tablespoons of browning sauce. Stir your oxtails around in the bowl until they are completely coated. When your oxtails are completely coated, set them to the side. The oxtails totally smelled like barbecue. In your Instant Pot, add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Set your Instant Pot to saute. It should be on the highest temperature, which would be more. Once your Instant Pot is hot, add your oxtails. Sear them on each side for about a minute. Next, add 2 tablespoons of butter in the Instant Pot and then use the butter to deglaze the bottom of the pan. Once you've added your 2 tablespoons of butter, set your heat to low. Once you've deglazed the bottom of your pan, while still on sauté, set your temperature to normal. Then add your diced onions, your diced celery, your diced bell peppers, and your chopped carrots. Now sauté your vegetables for 5 minutes. After the 5 minutes are up, add 1 tablespoon of garlic. Then sauté the garlic with the vegetables for about a minute. Now add 2 cups of beef broth, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, a half a cup of red wine, 3 bay leaves, 1 sprig of rosemary, 2 sprigs of thyme, your diced tomatoes, and your chopped green onions. Then mix all your ingredients together until well combined. Now add your meat into your Instant Pot. Now add 1 habanero pepper. Make sure you've already cut off the stem and taken out the seeds first. Next, place the lid on your Instant Pot and close it. Now press pressure cook, and then press the plus sign until it's at 45 minutes. After the 45 minutes, do a natural release for 15 minutes. This basically means that the Instant Pot is going to cool down naturally. By the way, make sure you turn off the keep warm option or else the quick release will take even longer. Don't forget to unseal the vent on your Instant Pot before opening it. Now that your oxtails have finished cooking, remove the fat from the top. Then remove your oxtails. Next, disregard of the bay leaves, rosemary stem, and thyme stem. Now add a cornstarch slurry to your gravy to thicken it up. To make the cornstarch slurry, mix together 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and about 3 to 4 tablespoons of water. Set your Instant Pot to saute and the temperature to either low or normal to heat up the gravy and help it become thicker. At this point, you can also taste your gravy and see if it needs any seasonings. I added about a teaspoon of salt, but you can season your gravy to your liking. Once the gravy is thick, you can add your oxtails back into the pot. And that's it, you've finished cooking your oxtails. Now all you have to do is place them on a plate and enjoy. I added some rice to my plate and then I added the oxtails. Then I added some parsley on top. And this is the finished result. This was my first time making oxtails, but I think they came out pretty good. They tasted good, and I know they tasted good because I ate some, and my mom kept trying to eat the oxtails while I was cooking. By the way, the type of browning I used was Kitchen Bouquet's browning and seasoning sauce. I got mine from Winn-Dixie, but you can also get it at Publix. I would have gone to Publix, but they were sold out. I know everyone has their different way of making oxtails, so this is just my way of making them. However, if you have any advice on making oxtails, I would really appreciate the tips so I can improve. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make this crab and shrimp linguini. It is absolutely delicious, it's creamy, and it has a lot of flavor. So let's get started with the video. First, we're going to prep our ingredients. Begin by chopping up a half a cup to a cup of spinach, depending on how much spinach you want in your pasta. When you have finished, set your spinach to the side. Next, we're going to cut 6 garlic cloves into slices. When you're finished, set your sliced garlic to the side. Next, dice 1 tomato. Then set your diced tomato to the side. Finally, peel and devein your shrimp. You can add as much shrimp as you want. I added 8 large pieces of shrimp, but if you really like shrimp, you can add medium-sized shrimp so you can have a lot more in your pasta. When you're finished peeling and deveining your shrimp, set it to the side. In a saucepan over medium heat, add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Then add your sliced garlic. Cook the garlic and the oil together over medium heat. Once the garlic begins to simmer, cook it for 2 to 3 minutes, or until the garlic begins to turn golden around the edges. Once that happens or the time is up, pour your garlic and oil into a heat-proof bowl. The garlic will continue to cook inside the bowl, creating some delicious garlic chips. Once you've poured the garlic and oil inside the bowl, go ahead and set it to the side to use later. Now, in a large pot of water, add a tablespoon of vinegar and a tablespoon of liquid seafood oil. The vinegar makes it easier for you to pick the crabs after they're finished cooking, and the liquid seafood oil gives your crabs flavor. Now bring the water to a boil. Once the water is boiling, add 1 snow crab and let it cook for 5 minutes. After the initial 5 minutes, take it out of the boiling water, let it cool for about a minute or so, and then pick the meat out. When you're finished, set your crab meat to the side. Now we're going to cook our shrimp. In a pan over medium heat, add some butter. Once your butter has melted, add your shrimp. Then season your shrimp. I seasoned my shrimp with pepper, Old Bay, onion powder, and garlic powder. Cook your shrimp for about 3 to 5 minutes. Once your shrimp has finished cooking, take it off the heat and set it to the side. Next, we're going to cook our linguini noodles. In a large pot of water over high heat, add some salt. Bring the water to a boil and then add your linguini noodles. Cook your noodles for however long it says to on the box. Once your noodles have finished cooking, drain the water and set your noodles to the side. Now that we've finished prepping all of our ingredients, we can go ahead and make our pasta. Add 1 to 2 tablespoons of your garlic oil into a large pan. Then add 1/4 cup of diced onions. Then saute your onions for about 3 to 4 minutes. Lightly season your onions with salt and pepper. Now add 1 tablespoon of minced garlic and saute that for about 1 minute. Next, add 1 cup of chicken broth and 2 tablespoons of butter. Let the chicken broth and butter cook until the butter has melted. Butter has melted, add 2 cups of heavy cream. Now add 2 ounces of cream cheese. Once the cream cheese is melted into your sauce, add 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Then add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 or 1/2 teaspoon of Creole seasoning, and 1/4 teaspoon of liquid seafood oil. Then mix everything until well combined. Next, add 1 cup of lump crab meat. Mix it into your sauce and then let it simmer for about 5 minutes. After that, add 2 to 3 tablespoons of your chopped spinach. Or you could add even more spinach if you want. Stir the spinach into your sauce and then let it cook for about 2 more minutes. Now reduce your heat to low and add in your linguini noodles. Stir your linguini noodles into your sauce until they are completely coated. And that's it, you have finished making your pasta. Now it's time to plate it up. Oh, by the way, at this point you can add in your shrimp if you want, or you can save it to add it on top. Once you've added your pasta to your plate, you can go ahead and add your toppings. I added my shrimp, tomatoes, snow crab meat, and the garlic chips from before. And this is the finished result. The pasta was delicious. It was flavorful and creamy. I really like the garlic chips in the pasta as well as the tomatoes. Tomatoes in Alfredo pasta just taste amazing. This is a great pasta for anyone who loves crabs like I do. I'm really glad with the outcome of this pasta, especially since I just made it up from the top of my head. I was really hungry one day, so I thought this would make a great pasta and ended up making it. Alright, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make birria tacos. I got a lot of requests to do this video and man, I am so glad I did. These tacos were absolutely amazing. They were so delicious. I'm super excited to show you guys how I made these, so let's get started with the video. We're gonna begin by preparing our ingredients. First, dice 1 large onion, or 2 small onions. When you're finished, set your diced onions to the side. Next, chop up some cilantro. Remove the leaves from the stem. Bunch them all together and then begin chopping them into tiny pieces. When you're finished, set your cilantro to the side. Now we're going to shred some mozzarella cheese. I shredded about half the mozzarella cheese, so when you're finished, place your shredded mozzarella cheese in a Ziploc bag and place it in the fridge. Next, place 3 guajillo chilies, 1 pasillo chili, and 1 ancho chili onto a cutting board. Then remove the stem and the seed from all of your chilies. I tried using a knife to do this, but it was way too difficult, so I just used scissors. It was way easier to cut the stem off and to cut the chili open to remove the seeds. By the way, when I was cutting open the chilies, I would just pour the seeds into a little bowl, to reduce the mess. When you finish removing the stem and the seeds from your chilies, go to the sink and rinse them off. When you finish rinsing off your chilies, go ahead and place them into a pot of water. Bring the pot to a boil, then remove it from the heat. Let the chili stew in the hot water for about 20 minutes. When the 20 minutes are up, place your chilies into a blender. Then add 1 chipotle pepper in adobo sauce and 1 cup of water. Blend everything together until smooth. When your mixture has finished blending, set it to the side. Now we're going to brown our beef shanks. Add some olive oil to a pan over medium-high heat. I used my iron skillet, but you can use any large pan you have on hand. Place your meat on the pan and let it brown on both sides within a minute or so. We're only browning it, so it doesn't really need to cook that long. Plus, since it's on high, we don't want to burn our meat either. about 30 seconds on each side. I'm cooking around 3 pounds of beef shanks. Oh, and you can also use chuck roast if you can't find any beef shanks. When you finish browning your meat, place it in your Instant Pot or your crock pot. Then add half of your diced onions from before. Then pour your chili mixture through a strainer into the pot. Now add 2 tablespoons of beef bouillon powder, 2 bay leaves, 2 teaspoons of Mexican oregano, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1/4 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of ground clover, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 chopped or diced carrot, a half a teaspoon of pepper, 1/4 teaspoon of sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, and 4 cups of water. Now just place your Instant Pot on the meat and stew setting and let it cook. If you have a crock pot, set it on high and cook it for about 4 to 6 hours. Alright, so a quick note, when your food is cooking, seal the ventilation and then when it's finished cooking, let it out. But when you let it out, use some tongs or something to grab it with because the steam is really hot and it comes out quickly. Now that everything is finished cooking, take your meat out of the pot. Remove the bone from the meat and then start chopping your beef. This is the part of the video where I found a butcher knife and just started hacking at the meat because I saw someone do that in another video and I wanted to do it too. I know this looks very wild, but I am just chopping the meat. Swear. When you're finished chopping your beef, we're going to place a good, I don't know, about not half. How much did I add? We're gonna add some of our meat back into our broth. Around half. Leave enough meat behind so you have enough for your tacos.
Make sure to taste your broth and add any additional seasonings if needed. Mine needed a bit more salt. Skim the fat from the top of your broth and place it inside a bowl. Once you're finished with that, combine some of your leftover diced onions and some of your cilantro in a small bowl and mix it all together. We'll be using this combination for our tacos. Next, in a large pan over medium heat, add a spoonful of your rendered fat onto the pan. Then add your corn tortilla. Make sure both sides are well coated in the rendered fat. You could always just dip it in the rendered fat instead, but this was easier for me since my corn tortillas were a bit on the fragile side. So every time I tried to dip them, they would rip apart. Let your tortilla cook for about a minute and then add your cheese, beef, cilantro and onion, and a bit more cheese. Then just fold your taco. I also flipped my taco so both sides were cooked pretty well. Once both sides of your taco are nice and crispy, go ahead and take it off the heat and set it to the side. Repeat this process until you've made your desired amount of tacos. Now that we've finished making our tacos, we can go ahead and plate everything up. Pour some of your broth into a bowl. Add your tacos and broth to a plate. Then add some limes on your plate as well. Lime with the tacos tastes delicious. I added more meat on top of the broth. Then I added some onions and cilantro. I also added some onions and cilantro on top of my tacos. And this is the finished result. Like I said before, these tacos were absolutely delicious. I love them. I even made them again for lunch the next day. My mom really liked them as well. After I finished filming, she ate all the tacos from this video. The recipes I used for this video were Simply Mama Cooks and Views by the Road, so I'll have their videos linked in the description below. These tacos are really good. I totally recommend making them. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Everything I used in this video will be down in the description below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye! Hey everyone, today I'll be teaching you how to make a deshelled seafood boil. I decided to make a small seafood boil for my mom and wanted to show you guys how I made it. So let's get started with the video. We're going to begin by making our Blvd sauce. Start by slicing 1 onion, one green bell pepper, and 1 red bell pepper. By the by, you can also add yellow bell peppers and orange bell peppers. In a large skillet, melt 4 sticks of butter at medium heat. Once your butter has melted, add your onions and peppers. Then add 1/3 cup of your Blvd Smackalicious sauce seasoning mix. Now add 1 cup of water, 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, 1 tablespoon of hot sauce, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 1 cup of sweet chili sauce, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Mix everything together until well combined. Let it simmer on low for about 10 to 15 minutes or until your vegetables are translucent. When your sauce is done, take it off the heat and set it to the side. Make sure you thaw your seafood before you even start cooking. When your king crab has thawed, clean and wash it thoroughly. You want to make sure you get all the barnacles and dirt off of your king crab. Then, place your king crab on a tinfoil covered baking sheet. Bake your king crab in the oven at 400 degrees for about 4 to 5 minutes or until your king crab is hot. Once your king crab is finished cooking, take it out of the oven and then let it cool. When it's cool enough to touch, go ahead and break it open and take out the meat. Break each part of the king crab leg off. Then cut the side of the shell and break open the crab leg to remove the meat. Then peel the white fat off of the meat. Do the same thing with other parts of the crab leg. When you're cutting your crab leg, make sure you stay as close to the edge as possible so you don't tear or shred your crab meat. Make sure to remove any green nasty bits you see on your crab meat. When you're finished, set your king crab meat to the side. Alright, so now we're going to deshell our lobster. Cut open the bottom of your lobster. Peel back the bottom of the shell. Remove your lobster meat from the shell. Then remove the vein inside the lobster meat. Cut the top layer of the lobster open to ensure that you have removed all the veins and nasty bits. When you're finished, rinse your lobster clean and set it to the side. Now deshell and devein your shrimp. When you're finished, rinse and clean off your shrimp and set them to the side. Now we're going to prep our vegetables. Break your corn in half. Bam! You see that strength? The Hulk has nothing on me. Then rinse and clean off your corn. Once you're finished, set your corn to the side. After that, rinse and clean your potatoes. And proceed to cut them in half. When you're finished cutting your potatoes in half, set them to the side. In a large pot of water, add 1 teaspoon of liquid seafood boil, onion powder, garlic powder, Florida seafood seasoning crab and shrimp boil, and complete seasoning. Then bring your water to a boil. Cook your potatoes first. Boil your potatoes for 15 to 20 minutes. You'll know your potatoes are done if they're soft enough to pierce a fork all the way through them. When your potatoes are finished cooking, remove them from the pot and add them into a pan or bowl that you are going to use for your seafood boil. Then add your corn and sausage into the pot. Boil your corn and sausage for 5 minutes. When everything's done cooking, remove from the pot and add it to your pan. After that, boil your shrimp. The shrimp will cook really fast, so only cook it for about a minute or two. Alright, now boil your lobster. The lobster will also cook really fast. You'll know your lobster is finished cooking when it becomes firm. It shouldn't be slimy or mushy. Then boil and peel your eggs. You want to boil your eggs for at least 10 minutes. Then shock them with ice and peel your eggs. When all your ingredients are finished cooking and you've placed them inside of your pan, you can go ahead and start adding your sauce. And that's it! You are all finished with your deshelled seafood boil. Ugh, it smelled so delicious. Doesn't that image just make your mouth water? It looks so good. Oh, by the way, the reason I didn't add a lot of seafood is because I made this small seafood boil for my mom and I knew she would be eating dessert afterwards, so I decided to make the seafood boil a bit smaller than usual. Everything I used in the video will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye!